If you've clicked on this video and you feel like you're working hard and you never seem to get any further forward financially, then please stick with me. The biggest reason that I have managed to change my life isn't because I was born rich or that I have a high paying job or because I was lucky. It's because I learned something that, looking back, I feel like I should have been taught in school. Working people become wealthy when they become owners. By the end of this video, I hope that sentence makes sense. Let's start at the beginning. I want you to think for a second. Who is the hardest working person you know? Honestly, who comes to mind? For me, it's my parents. They worked incredibly hard. They did everything people tell you to do. They tell you to work hard, provide for your family, keep going, but it never really felt like they were ever getting ahead. They seemed to just be working and standing still. For years, I just thought that's just how life was. If you wanted more money, then you just have to work even harder. If you wanted a nicer house, then you need to get a better job. And I honestly believe that the answer to almost any money problem was to work harder. There's only 24 hours in the day. You can work overtime, get a promotion, change jobs, but eventually you will run out of hours in the day. And that's when I started to ask myself the question, if hard work alone made people wealthy, then why weren't the hardest working people that I knew wealthy? I think the answer is incredibly simple. School teaches us to earn, not own. So I don't blame people for thinking that they have to work harder to get something better, because when we're in school, we're only taught how to get a good paying job. No one actually teaches us what to do with the money once we've earned it. I did what a million other people do. I get paid, I pay my bills, I spend the rest, wait for payday. And it was just a reoccurring money cycle. Let me show you what that looked like. So this was my life week after week, month after month, year after year. I go to work hard, get paid, pay my bills, and then you log into your online banking and you're back to zero again. Does that sound like you? Because that certainly was me. I felt like I was working hard and putting so much effort in, but never actually moving forward. I honestly remember the day that my mindset shifted. What do almost wealthy people have in common? No, not footballers, not celebrities, not lottery winners, just ordinary wealthy people. What do they own? They own businesses, they own shares, they own property, they own land. And then I realized something. I'd spent my whole life earning money, and they'd spent their whole life buying things that earned them money. And that was the biggest mindset shift I ever had. And this doesn't mean that I've stopped enjoying my life. I still go on holiday. I still buy myself things I want. I still go for meals out. If I don't buy myself something that month that pays me back, I feel like I haven't moved forward. I'm absolutely not perfect at all, but I'm very consistent with paying myself first, buying something for me, buying me something that in the future will be worth more and pays me back. I've never been as consistent with anything as this in my life. I hope you're not watching this video and thinking, well, good for you. I'm not special. No matter how hard you work, you will eventually hit a ceiling of number of hours you can work in the day, or the maximum that job will ever pay you. There are only so many hours in the day for me to clean houses. There are only so many houses I can get through in a day by myself. There's a limit to how much I can charge someone per hour to clean their house. There's basically a limit to my labor. There's a limit to how much I can actually ever earn based on how many hours in the day and how much I charge per hour. For you, there might be only so many hours in a day that you can teach for, or so many hours in the day that you can drive for. We're all limited by our time, but your investments don't sleep. It honestly felt so strange because I'd spent my whole life thinking that the only way to get money would be to work for it. But now, a tiny piece of business all over the world were making money for me while I slept, while I was awake, while I was at Alton Towers, while I was visiting the zoo. That's when this sentence is hopefully starting to make sense. Working people become wealthy when they become owners. Just when I thought I'd figured out investing, I discovered something else. I discovered that the government had quietly created an account where you could invest money and all the money you made would be tax-free. Think about that for a second. You go to work really hard, the government takes some of that money off you. You invest the money, everybody else does the work for you. All the money you make is tax-free. I think if you're already in that space and you're already researching, then this video might not come as a surprise. For a lot of ordinary people, when I talk to them about investing and my investments, I think they just can't believe that all that money would be completely tax-free. So what is this account? It's the Stocks and Shares ISA. And I honestly think it's one of the best products the government has ever created. So here's how I invest. I buy a basket of stocks, which is called an ETF. It basically holds thousands of small bits of companies all over the world. These are called shares. A share basically is your share of that business. It's not 1%, it's just your fair share. Imagine it like that. So hopefully those businesses, thousands of businesses all over the world, become more valuable. That means the value of your investments would go up. But in a normal account, a general investment account, those investment gains would be taxed. But inside a Stocks and Shares ISA, you get to keep the full amount. And you don't only make money when the price of those companies go up. You get your share of its profits, called a dividend. Basically, they'll give you some of their profits because you're the owners of the business now. When I first heard about this account, I was just like, why is there not more people talking about this? And when you start to search for the information, it is actually out there, but there's nobody pushing it onto people that don't ordinarily look for this stuff. So if you're already into financial services and you're in the know, you already think, oh, I already know this stuff. But there are millions of people out there that would benefit from this and are not already currently. Let me show you mine. This is my free trade account, and this isn't to show off. This is quite the opposite. I want you to realize exactly what I'm on about. I spent quite a few years building this, month after month. There's no magic, there's no secret stocks, no crypto, millionaire, just consistently investing every single month, buying something that pays me back every month. This is roughly how much my investments have made over the past 12 months. And then this is how much they have made since I began investing in that particular account. If this exact same money was instead invested outside of an ISA, I would definitely have tax that I would have to pay on this. But just because it's inside of a Stocks and Shares ISA, when I'm opening an account, which one do you want to open? A normal investment account or a Stocks and Shares ISA account? Just because I click the Stocks and Shares ISA account, there is no tax. I think I started around the beginning of COVID. So if I'd now started to save, and that's only been like 6 years, if I do that over 30 years, imagine the growth that I would get on that. I'm already doubled more than what I've put in. So if that continues to grow at that rate, it's going to be even bigger. And all that now, all the additional growth that I will get over the next 25, 30, 40 years will be completely tax-free, simply by using the right account. And that's why this matters. Most people in the UK still don't invest. Despite most people having the cash ISA, the Stocks and Shares ISAs, when all the sums of both accounts are added up, so everybody's Stocks and Shares ISA and everybody's cash ISA, the Stocks and Shares ISAs, despite them making up a smaller proportion of accounts, significantly outweigh, balance-wise, the cash ISAs. It made complete sense to me that most ISAs that are opened are cash ISAs because people understand cash to get it. But the reason that the Stocks and Shares ISAs are much higher is because people have allowed their money to grow in businesses that are producing income while they sleep. So when I think about investing, I'm just thinking about some of the reasons that I didn't invest. So I'm 34 now. So it wasn't until I was 29, 28 that I actually started to invest. And the reasons I didn't invest was because I felt like I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I felt like I would lose all my money for one. Especially when it's hard you've not had the easy money. It's not money that's been given to you easy, or when you're not earning a lot of money, it feels like I don't want to take a risk with this money that was hard earned. I think people do really care about their money, but I just don't think they feel like investing is for them. And I can completely understand that. I didn't have a clue what an ISA was. I didn't have a clue what a fund was. I certainly didn't know what a dividend was. And because I didn't understand it, I completely avoided it. I think that's what most people are doing. If I was starting from zero tomorrow, let's say I woke up and I didn't have any shares at all, any stocks and shares, I know exactly what I would do. I wouldn't spend days, months, weeks and years trying to find the next Google or Tesla or Facebook or the next big company that's going to double overnight. I've already tried that and it doesn't work. Not to people like me and you anyway. And actually, when I did start investing, the first thing I did was actually buy individual companies. And so on free trade, I can actually see that if I'd have just chose an ETF, a basket of stocks that's all over the world, that account would actually be £8,000 more today than it is now. So that's cost me 8,000. I'm still happy. But if I'd have just stuck with something like a broad index tracker, just something that just buys a little basket, a piece of everything, a small basket of every company in the world, if I just stuck with that, I'd actually be better off than all the time I'd spent hours, weeks, years just trying to find the company that would actually make me a lot of money. But if I'd have just stuck with just a basket of stocks, I would already be much better off now. I don't try and guess, will Amazon do well? Will Apple do well? Will Google do well? Will Facebook do well? Should I put more in that? Should I take it out now? I don't guess. I just invest consistently every single month in the same index tracker that tracks the whole market every single month. My bet is that over the next 20, 30 or 40 years, businesses all over the world are going to grow. They will continue to solve problems, and in doing that, they will continue to create value for shareholders like me and you. That feels like a much safer bet to me. Here's the thing, you don't need a lot of money to get started. If I only had £10 spare a month, I would definitely still get started. The thing that investing has learned me is that things take time, but they will grow. And if you look over the past 12 months, that money now is going up faster than I would be able to save myself. And that is after 6 years. Imagine what that will be in 20 years' time. The sooner you get started, the sooner your money can start working for you, instead of you working for every pound you own. Who knows what the stock market will do next year? But over the long term, owning businesses has been an incredibly successful way to build wealth. And I'm actually not saying don't buy a coffee, don't get anything that you actually want to do. What I'm saying is buy something that pays you back every single month. The more you can save, obviously you're going to get more stuff that pays you back. So let that be some motivation when you're thinking, should I buy that or not? So if you've watched this far, then I'm hoping that you've realized that this video it isn't just much about an ISA. The ISA is just the tool. The real lesson is how you think about money. What changed everything was when I stopped thinking like a worker and started thinking like an owner. I still work, I still clean houses, I still earn a wage, but every month I use that wage to buy myself a small piece of thousands of different businesses all over the world that work for me. Wealth isn't built on one amazing decision, one lucky decision, but thousands of tiny little decisions to invest each month is what has changed my life. And you remember one thing I said right at the beginning, working people become wealthy when they become owners. I hope that sentence makes a little bit more sense. But let's imagine instead that you get to the end of the month and you now have a bigger portion of all those tiny businesses that you've been buying that will pay you back every single month and will grow over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. One step closer to financial freedom. That's honestly how I think, and it feels pretty amazing that I'm moving forward with my goals and getting my money to work for me instead of me having to work for every penny. So if you're thinking right, I get it, ownership matters, but where do I start? Well, don't worry, because in my next video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I would start, the apps I would use, the things I would buy. No complicated language, no jargon, just a simple process that I wish somebody had showed me years ago. If you'd like to come along for that, I'd love for you to subscribe. And if this video has changed the way you think about money, then I'd love for you to share it with somebody that you think is working incredibly hard, because the chances are they've never actually been taught this either. Thanks for the chat, and I'll see you at next one.